Hi, my name's Audra Williams, and I'm doing issues with world poverty for my ethics project. Sorry, okay. What is ethics? Ethics is someone's moral principles and what they believed. So, versus what's your ethics and my ethics? What do I believe versus what do you believe and stuff like that. So, what is world poverty and why is it a problem? World poverty is something that people struggle with every day. People that don't live here in the States or live somewhere else outside of the country, everyone around the world, there's someone that is struggling to get by. Poverty is a really hard thing to live in, and they have very limited access to everyday needs, stuff that we can just run outside to the store and get, they can't get. So that leaves them struggling. People are living in poverty have less than $1.90 to spend a day. I couldn't imagine having to only have $1.90 a day to spend when you have children or a family and you have to provide for yourself and for them. It's just really, that will be a struggle and stressful. So it's really, really sad that these people have to go through this and live with it. Poverty is made up of a lot of things. We have the limited access to their education, where people live, their hunger, the nutrition they get, the health benefits, all this stuff. For today's PowerPoint though, I just focused on education, children in poverty, and hunger and nutrition. So those are the three I'll be focusing on today, but there's many more and many things that go way deep down the line into more details about poverty. Alright, so my first one's going to be children in poverty. 1 in 7 kids are in poverty. Nearly 11 million children are considered poor. From my point of view, I don't think that children should have to come into this world and be brought up like this. Not that anyone should have to go through this, but I think that it's hard for the child and it's hard for the parent because they are already struggling, and what are they going to do with the child? It's gonna have nights maybe they don't go with they go without eating, or they don't have warm winter clothes and stuff like that. So it's just kind of hard on the parent and hard for the kid, and it's really a struggle for them because what are they gonna do to help benefit the kid? But they are also struggling themselves, and people need to help them, because if they don't get the help they need, they can't help their children. And it's not like they don't want to, but they just can't because they're struggling. So these are some pictures. I have some pictures at the top. There's a lady in a purple jacket holding and feeding her baby on the sidewalk, and it looks pretty cold because she's got some jackets. There's people, a little boy laying on his mom. But it's just sad because no one should have to live like this, and children shouldn't have to be out there, but it's just hard for them when they can't do anything about it because they need an education or stuff like that. So the next one I have is poverty with hunger and nutrition. So over 38 million struggled with food insecurity. So with food is expensive, people living in poverty, it's hard for them to have money to get the food for everyone that they need to get it for. So it's kind of hard for them to have the right amount of nutrition if they can't get the money for it, because healthier food or food that has a higher value in nutrition is obviously and generally the more expensive type. So it's hard for parents and just anyone that's living in poverty to get the right amount of food and what kind of food they need to get by. But sometimes they have to go without it, and it's not fair to people that don't have the right education and stuff that they need to get by in life. So it's not really fair to them, and it's a struggle for them. And unfortunately, they have to live like that. But there should be things to help them. And here are some pictures of them. You can see the little boy pouring water, all these little girls and little boys sharing the rice. But they just look as happy as they can be. but that's all that I know. All right, so next is going to be with the education. Poverty and education is a real thing. People and children are living in poverty don't have the same access to the education that we have. So right now, like I am recording myself on a computer. They don't have access to the computers. They have maybe a chalkboard or maybe a piece of paper, not even though. So it's hard for these people to get an education, and then it's harder for them to get a job when they don't have an education, because most places you get a job want you to have an education. So it's kind of like up in the air for them. How are they supposed to get a job when they don't have an education and so forth? Let's see. And here are some pictures of them. So, the U.S. response to poverty, there is a website where there is things in the U.S. That set up a safety net, which is a program for them, jobs that are tailored to people, and then having better access to healthcare for them to maybe help get them up off their feet. China is doing the same thing with the poverty. They are responding in more so of a positive way, trying to help them from the bottom race to the top, and really get them going and have an income that they can live off of and try to help them get back on their feet. The culture, as you can look from the pictures, there's tons of different cultures, whether they're living here or outside of the States. So it's really just a lot of different things, a lot of different cultures made up into the poverty that people live in. And then the ethics word that I chose was the deontological ethics, and because it sums up the whole thing, I would say. One of the meanings for it was consequences do not matter and that people are obligated to help. So I chose that one because I thought it also tied in with my notes here for the relating it back to one of our ethical things that we learned was Tolstoy, his faith and his purpose to life, and how his faith brought him purpose. So I think that these people really are using, probably if they have a strong belief in faith, to help them to get through these hard times and know that they can eventually get through it because they have something they're believing in at the end and something they're looking forward to, trying to rise above. And then these are all of my websites that I use for my research, and yep, I really enjoyed this assignment and learning more about it. Thank you so much.